What is up, everybody? It is May 5th. May the 5th be with you.
And also
what's
with
up?
you.
It's
Namaste.
Cinco de Mayo. Let's get wasted. All right, guys. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about sustainable packaging, the worst sustainable packaging out there. We've got a couple examples. Adam, Cory, what's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Hello.
All good. Good morning.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, but it's the 5th. It's the Cinco.
Live long and Harry Potter.
Cool. So, all right. So, real quick, give you one.
I'm in Pittsburgh, by the way.
Oh,
Thanks for asking.
You're in Pittsburgh. Where are you?
He's in the steel mill.
I'm at the Flexible Pack or the Flexographic Technical Association InfoFlex show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, learning all about flexographic printing and everything that goes along with it. So it's actually been really, really fascinating to just meet people whose whole jobs are to flexigraphically print stuff. There's an award show last night, and
that's interesting. It started on a Sunday.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I thought so too.
So what's the difference between flexographic printing and other kinds of printing?
Yeah,
I guess you'll have to stay tuned.
All right.
I didn't let you cut me off that time.
Well, I didn't want to cut you off through like what you were saying because it was interesting. That would have been rude, but that would have been funny.
Still funny.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, labels are packaging, Hugh.
He's just humoring you.
Oh my gosh. It was just a courtesy.
All right.
Maple syrup. I forgot.
Catherine Genzer, live long and drink margaritas. Catherine posted something interesting this weekend.
Yeah, really fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. And it was it kind of led to this, in terms of like what is sustainable and like what packaging is out there that's sustainable, and some of it, and what's the stuff that's got some great claims out there that's really terrible. So
a lot of greenwashing.
Yeah, a ton of greenwashing. Not saying that the post was greenwashing.
Nope.
Just it kind of led to that conversation. But I don't know, guys, like what's one of the things out there, and if you're watching, listening, whether YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you are, what's the one packaging that you hate that you see with claims of sustainability, but is sustainable?
Sustainable what?
Sustainable chips. Yeah. So what? So Adam, what's like one that drives you insane?
And I'll there's a bunch of background noise, so I'll
talk about it.
I'll keep kind of muting my mic myself, so you don't have to mute me, Evelio. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a lot. I cannot stand the claims that people make around like, the metaphysical nature of packaging. Like somebody posted about how glass was infinitely recyclable recently and how aluminum is infinitely recyclable. So the claims are what drive me crazy. I think the one that I dislike maybe the most is the paper poly, foil poly, like coffee bags. And not because they're not good, but because when you have the paper on the outside, it gives this like allure that it's some magical flexible packaging material that's going to like fix all the world's problems. But it's just that the outer layer we're printing on is a thin film of paper, and the rest of it is plastic and foil, and which has a lot of good benefits, but it makes it seem like, oh, we're this really granola company. It's like you're not, though. You're just using one tiny little layer of paper. That's probably the one that drives me. I saw it once and it said this coffee bag is like 40% compostable, and I was like,
yeah,
it's 0% compostable, bro. What are we doing?
Just the tip. All right. So, all right. So with, yeah, that does. And it's not just coffee. Like there's a ton of packaging out there that gives it like that faux paper feel. And then on the inside, it's like laminated to plastic or foil or, a million different things. It's like, well, if you're not in packaging, you just don't, you're just looking at it. You're like, oh, it's paper. It goes in there easily. And that's the person you've got to consider, right? Not the person that you're either selling the packaging material to, the supplier, the brand. It's really that consumer. Who's that real person that's going to be interacting with that pack and then deciding where it goes?
Yeah, or even plastic packaging that's printed to look like paper. That really bothers me because the consumer says, "Oh, that's paper. We're going to recycle that."
Yeah, and it's an easy mistake.
Yeah, and it's almost intended. I think that's literal greenwashing. I mean, they are absolutely intending for people to think, "Ooh, this is recyclable. Check it out. You should buy this." And like Adam said, something that says 40% biodegradable or 30% recyclable or compostable is 100% garbage, and we need to make that illegal. And we're working on that with the Truth in Labeling Acts that are being passed shortly. But it's going to take time. So I think there's a little bit of a bonanza happening right now of last minute. Ooh, we can still get away with this, so let's still do it.
Yeah. What's another material out there that people don't realize is not the greatest for sustainability?
I think anything with a chasing arrows that says a number 7 is technically called other, and it would be very difficult to recycle. I've even seen items printed with a triangle around a 7. Because they didn't want to say it was recyclable, but they're giving the impression that it's recyclable to the consumer.
Yeah. And we got Ganapati. What's up, buddy? How's it going? We got the water bottles that are 50%, some middle percentage of recycled material. Why don't they just make it 100%? Some do.
Because there's not enough recycled plastic in the world to do it.
Yeah, it's like, why not just go the full length? Why just do, why stop halfway? And then Chris coming in with compostable dog waste bags. Those are the worst.
It's so stupid.
They are. I totally forgot about those, but those are the worst.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for when I go dig a hole in my neighbor's yard and bury all my dog crap in there. At least I feel like the bag isn't going to be terrible.
You can do that in Utah, right? That's legal.
It's legal. Yeah, we can't recycle glass, but yeah, you can just chuck bags of dog crap into your neighbor's yard, and they're like, "Hey, thanks for the compost."
That's
just helping out your yard, neighbor.
That's called a ute, right? When you do that.
No,
you uted. No,
you do not.
No,
you do not. That's not the word.
Okay. No, like Utah.
The one thing that drives me nuts about those compostable bags is when you go hiking, right? When you're out, you're hiking, you're out by the lake, whatever, and you see these bags just sitting on the side, and someone that's picking up their dog poo, they've done that process. They don't carry it out and throw it in the trash can. They just leave it on the side because, I moved it out of the way, and this is going to compost, and la-di-da, I'm helping out nature. Meanwhile, it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, this is worse. Yeah,
right. This is the worst.
You could have just flung the poop into the bushes, right?
You could have just kicked it over. And that would actually be better.
Bag and lit it on fire.
Yeah, that's fun.
Why don't they make paper dog poop bags?
How about you, Evelio? What are some ones that? Because I know you don't usually have opinions, but I'd like to open it up for you to share today. For the first time, what makes Evelio mad about packaging?
What makes me mad about packaging? I don't know. There's a few things, right? So, like, one of the things.
Please go off, King.
Yes, lay it on us.
No, I think what drives me nuts is the fact that there's a ton of materials out there, and when you combine them with other materials, all of a sudden it takes whatever sustainable properties that particular material had, and just throws it out the window, but it still communicates that it's recyclable, it's biodegradable, like blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't necessarily help anybody, right? So if you've got boxes with windows, and it, then they're like sealed into this thing where you can't separate them easily. Nobody's going to do that. I'm looking at grocery stores with big window donut boxes. Like nobody's going to be able to recycle that, but they're all going in the bin. It could potentially come off in the pulping process, but it's probably not going to make it that far because of the size of these windows, and it's being scanned as plastic. So it's going to be either waste in the paper waste stream or the plastic waste stream. Like you just really have to think about that end consumer. Now, you want to sell your product, of course, because you want to build your company, but at what cost? And if Windows sell the product and that's a big part of it, fine. Just put on there, do not recycle. Like just, clearly say this is trash. Eat the food, dump the trash. I think that's something that is driving nuts.
I made a video, and I hope that this made some change, but it was this product called Seeds of Change at Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a window, like a clear window on their box. And then inside of the window, all you saw was the flexible pouch that was on the inside. Like it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And somebody had convinced them, like, yeah, putting a window in this Costco box is good. Probably the people who had to sell window patching from their corrugated. But so I made a video. It got a lot of traction, and people were tagging Seeds of Change. And probably about 2 months later, I noticed on their packaging, they had removed the window and made a comment about how they had removed it. And I was like, oh, looks like I planted a seed of change.
Oh, well done, sir.
Seed of change for Seeds of Change. Yeah, the windows I don't understand. And a lot of people are like, no, we have to have it. It's like they're making it's like the people who think that Kind Bar needs to have like a clear wrapper instead of just a paper one that can be curbside recyclable. It's those kinds of people, if you know anybody, that are like, oh, people won't understand what's on the inside if we print it. We got to put a clear window in so they know it's donuts. It's like, yeah, I think they know it's donuts, buddy, when you put donuts on the outside of it.
When we're talking about brand, then yeah, you've built a brand on this clear plastic packaging. Suck it up. Like that's it. You change the paper, you've just devalued the brand. Sorry.
Out of here. Oh,
what are you
Give
doing?
me a second, guys.
You're gonna change your shorts, are you?
Yeah, hang on.
Put his wig on.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
And then we got Ganapathy saying that de-inking from artwork is also challenging while recycling.
Great point. And metallized and foil stamping, all of these things add to the challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
So you're really saying like you would look at this or look at this and be like, it's definitely that clear. I really need that clear to know that this is a Kind Bar and I'm going to eat it over.
No. But if I'm making a decision between those two as a consumer, the one on the bottom, the Kind Bar, looks fresher, right? Because everything that's behind a paper wrapper where you can't see the product is like some kind of hidden combination of different chemicals that make up a product. Like that's pretty much the way it goes. Doesn't matter what's actually inside or how it look or how it tastes. It's just the fact that consumers buy with their eyes when you're in a grocery store, when you're looking for a snack. That's what happens. Yeah, we got Hugh coming in with the maple syrup margaritas.
I've spoken to some of the noodle companies, if you will, spaghetti and pasta based companies, and they've done studies that show that if you remove the window from the packaging in the USA, your sales will go down.
Yeah, and Barilla, right? Barilla removed all of their windows. And they did a huge marketing push on, we've removed the windows. We just, all you need are pictures of the noodles because you know what noodles look like. I mean, they're all dry and gross looking anyway. And people stopped buying them. They just shifted over to the other boxes, the other brands that had windows on them because they like to see they like to see the product. That's just the way it goes. Unfortunately,
trust issues, right?
What if everybody in the pasta world said, you know what? What if we just made it illegal? We passed a law that said no clear windows on pasta boxes in the U.S.
I love it.
What would
Yeah,
happen?
but what about all the bagged noodles?
Mm.
So they switched to
I
bags,
just bought
like
some. I just bought like it's not a stand-up pouch, but it's like this poly bag of noodles
Hmm.
because it looked more Italian. Like it was, I'm being
Wow.
completely honest at how stupid I am as a shopper, because this is the
You are
majority
really
of people.
dumb.
This is the majority of people in the grocery aisle. Like I looked at the packaging. I was going to grab my standard, pasta noodles, and I saw this other bag, and in my head, I'm like, that one visually looks more Italian. Like I get why consumers are buying, because it was like almost gone. So I picked it up because I wanted to see, like, what it actually tastes like, what was different about it. But it was like a matte, semi-opaque bag. It had that paper texture to it, but it was plastic, and then it had like printing where it was a little distressed, and it had like a grandma on there, and
Oh well,
it
homemade then. Homemade.
Yeah, it spoke to all of those cues. So obviously, I know that it's not any more Italian. It's made in like Jersey or Utah, but
New York City.
yeah, exactly. But those are the things that make consumers change, purchase products. I don't know. So like back to other terrible packaging.
Yeah.
What, EPS foam? Like that's a disaster.
Yeah. Always says recyclable, and it technically is. I think that's one of the biggest issues with these plastics is technically recyclable. And I think we need to make a rule that says it has to be curbside recyclable in order to have that logo on it. But that's going to take years to implement because the laws are different everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. With EPS, I just spoke to the team at WOMI.
Yeah.
WOMI is awesome. Yeah. These guys they're based in Finland. They came out of the Aalto University with this product, which is insane. It's made out of tree fiber. This foam can recycle with paper. So if you've got a cardboard box and you've got foam in there, take your product out, you can put the whole box with the foam in the paper recycling bin, and it recycles.
Amazing.
It also degrades. You could eat it if you necessarily wanted to.
Do it.
Do it.
What I will tell you is, if you get it wet, like, because one of the questions is when you're doing foams and you've got layers in there, how are you binding those things, right? Because even if you've got some kind of packaging that's plastic free, but if you're using a hot melt glue to put it all together, then you just added a bunch of plastic. But this stuff, if you get it wet, if you get the surface wet and get another piece, it bonds together. And say you wanted to do like a drop-in card to cover this, you just basically get it wet, and as long as your paper that you're adhering to this is uncoated, it sticks, and it's there forever, which is insane. That stuff's really super cool.
Amazing.
Is it there infinitely?
Launch that. What's that?
It's there infinitely, forever.
No, because this biodegrades also.
Oh, okay. So it's not there forever.
It is not there forever. It is gone.
I'm just making sure that we're staying true to our words.
Yeah, for sure. We got John Greger coming in saying there was a time in the past where pasta noodles were always packaged in windowless boxes. Adding windows is pretty new. What are you unwrapping over there?
This is the Cliff Bar. I'm doing a live taste test behind the scenes. Cliff versus Kind, and I will tell you that Kind bar is kind of sticky.
Yeah.
And it sticks to the plastic on the inside.
Yeah.
Did you see their new logo though?
That thing. I did not expect my dumb TikTok video with the Zoolander on the back end of it. It's got like 200,000 views.
Awesome.
Okay. I'm back on TikTok, baby.
He's back.
just before it goes out. Chris is asking, do you think people are influenced by the packaging in a different way when buying in the store versus when people are buying an item online?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's the psychology behind it is incredible. And there are smart people, much smarter than me, trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and what we're trying to figure out is no. Yeah, when you're in store, you've got to see your packaging has to communicate so much directly to that consumer. When you're buying online, the packaging has zero to do with that purchase decision.
Right.
So it's all about images of the product, storytelling. You may show like a picture of the product with the packaging behind it or something like that, but really, the packaging for e-commerce has a different job. When it arrives at your home, you need to pick up that excitement of when they clicked buy at home. So that packaging is not about communicating what's inside. You already know what's inside. You purchased it.
Yeah.
And you got to continue that story and give them the reason why they purchased it. Reinforce those benefits. So those two they don't work together. They're completely different.
I've got something that I hate.
What do you hate?
Speaking of commerce, I think, and maybe this is a hot topic, maybe it's a hot button topic. I think we put way too much emphasis on over packaging for unboxing experiences.
Mm-hmm.
When I think e-commerce could stand to use a little bit of humility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just ship the stuff, just get it to the person. I don't think it has to be some like, we just want to really create this like incredible. Now, if it's like an influencer thing or for social media, if it's like a real part of marketing, okay, fine.
That's
it's going to be limited
right.
edition, whatever. But some of this stuff, it's just like, we want to create this whole experience. And I'm like, I just brought a toothbrush from you. Just, can you just ship me the tooth? Like, I don't need an experience for 99% of the stuff that I buy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to get it. And I want to be able to dispose of the packaging in a simple way, preferably through curbside recycling.
Yeah. So what Adam's saying is, maybe you get $2.
What am I saying? Tell me what I'm. Will you please?
Maybe you get $2 instead of $3 at Christmas.
Evelio explain this to me. Yeah, when you only get 2 baby dolls this Christmas.
So what Adam means is
just put them in regular packaging, so that maybe you can save enough money to buy 30 dolls.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because I know you spend a lot of time on design, Evelio, and Cory, you spend a lot of time on sustainability, and I just eat food. So what do you guys think about those two things? I'm going to go back to eating my Cliff Bar on mute.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Cory?
I think the answer, unfortunately, is it depends on the situation, on what we're providing to the customer. Mm-hmm. The consumer is in charge of this. And if it's an experience that they need to buy this thing to promote the item globally, Instagram is powerful and social media is powerful, and to share that experience is incredible. But if it can also go the other direction, and they can say, look at how recyclable this packaging is, or look at how minimal this recyclable packaging is. And that can provide more sales to their customer base as well.
Okay, can I push back a little bit?
Yes.
Less than 1% of people who are on social media create content on social media.
Yeah.
And so
you can't pick and choose who those people are.
Right.
You can't
so you
pick and choose.
The ones who
I don't
do
think you have to, though. I think that if you design packaging that is efficient, economical, and easy to dispose of, I think that 99% of your consumers are going to be totally fine with that. And then you can actually pick the influencers that are in your industry that you want to gift things to, maybe do a run of 2,500 or 1,000 and, create like a limited edition
podcast.
Yeah. Send it to us. We'll talk about it.
Those guys.
I'll eat your Cliff Bars. Just put them in paper wrappers. Yeah. So I don't know. I do think that
are Cliff Bars recyclable? Is the packaging recyclable?
No.
Okay, so
it's film and
exactly.
metallized film.
Okay,
but it could go in a paper wrapper now.
So it is worse than the kind bar in the clear plastic. Just one.
No, it's the exact same.
No, it's worse.
It's pretty much the same.
One's plastic. You could potentially recycle that. Store drop off.
You cannot recycle this in store drop off. The kind bar? Are you serious?
Sure, why not?
That is not getting recycled.
Drop it off and it disappears.
What do you think? What do you think about unboxing experiences? Evelio, what am I trying to say?
You what?
What was I trying to say? Please
Right.
put words in my mouth.
Yeah,
While
let me Evelio explain it to you. No, if 1% of the people are making content as a brand, you don't know who those 1% are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just for content, right? It's if you buy a lot of shoes. So if you buy a pair of, $300-$400 shoes, $500 shoes, and they show up in a poly bag, is that going to feel like money well spent, or is that going to feel like they don't care about the product? And here you go, like they're just throwing it at you. Like you have to have that experience that kind of balances out that cost. Now, if I buy a white T-shirt, a Hanes white T-shirt, and it shows up in a poly bag, great. If I spend $300 on a Dior shirt and it comes in that same poly bag, same exact experience, 2 different price points. As a consumer, I feel like, why did I pay this much more when it feels exactly the same as the cheap stuff? So you have to elevate the product. Unfortunately, you kind of have to do that.
What Evelio is saying is it's an experience for the consumer, and what Adam was saying is he doesn't care about that, and that
I don't care about people.
Most people won't make content.
I don't think
But what Evelio was saying, when he grew up in Italy,
when he would eat spaghetti in Italy,
there were no boxes for the spaghetti. His grandma made it. So recap. That's the recap.
Yeah. And Chris Olsen's talking about the T-shirt she received from Packaging Fashion, how much she loves the minimalist style and packaging.
Nice.
Thank you, Chris. I think it's easy to look at these things and be like, if I got a T-shirt if I spent $500 on a T-shirt, yeah, I don't really care if they put money into their packaging, right? Like that, they probably should, to create that experience.
There's an
and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with shoes. But like, I have plenty of shoes where I don't care. They could be $150 shoes, and it's just a Nike box. It's just literally a Nike box.
You got some $300. Yeah, but you got some shoes and some nice packaging, haven't you?
Yeah, no, I've gotten some, and it's been cool, and it's been experiential.
And
but
they
what
don't
I'm
know
talking about
that
is
you're
like,
an influencer. They don't know that you're one of the 1%.
No, I know, but they know that people who are spending that kind of money on shoes care about it, and the shoes in this particular situation, the shoes are part of the product because it helps with resale value. But what I'm talking about is like the regular stuff that we buy. So like electronics, for example. Like if I bought a dongle for my computer, it's okay if the dongle just comes in a poly bag. I don't care. But for some reason, especially when we manufacture these largely overseas, the dongle comes in some like rigid setup box with like a custom made molded tray with instructions inside of it. I was like, dude, just give me. I just wanted. Yeah, I don't need the spot varnish and the embossing and the debossing. I'm not going to go online and talk about my dongle.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point. I mean, I got a.
I'm in public, you guys. They can't hear the rest of the conversation.
It's just you
people walking by. I just got a very weird look for saying that out loud.
Yeah. No, the thing is, if you're producing overseas, when we're talking electronics, the cost to bring that product in, you have to have it packaged in something, and to make the packaging there locally is so inexpensive that you can actually put in a few extra cents and get a nice experience regardless of what the product is. And then you're importing it all in as one unit. So there's kind of a balance there. Like you have to have packaging around it. If it's an extra 10 cents per product to get a nice pack and make the consumer feel reinforced that they're buying a good product, it's kind of worth it. Like, yeah,
I got ripped off. Well, honestly, I'm like I literally, if it's like a $10 thing and it comes in if the box, it only costs 10 cents, but it feels like it costs $1, I'm like, crap, I paid too much for this. That's how I feel. Now, if it's an iPhone and it's a $1,200 product, cool. But like a lot of the stuff, I just think we overpackage. I can't believe you're defending this, Evelio.
Hey, I can sit on either side of an argument.
I know.
We got Hugh saying the Tecovas. What are those? Are those like cowboy boots? Why do I think they're cowboy boots?
I don't know. I can't even spell Tecovas.
I think it's
I'm in a well-designed box. It was a great experience.
It's Algonquin for the good land.
Mili Wake.
Miliwake.
Awesome. All right, guys. So before we go, what do you got going on? Where are you going to be, Adam? Pittsburgh?
I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh,
when?
Pennsylvania.
More
Going
speaking.
to be doing some podcasts. Going to be doing some interviews here at the FTA show. I got my own booth. Can't really pick up. I had my camera, but it wasn't connecting, and it was annoying me because I was going to kind of show what's going on here. But yeah, I've got my own booth. I got a little podcast set up. I got some shirts and stuff like that. So I'm excited to connect with people. And we're just going to talk all about how labels are packaging and how it's the greatest thing ever.
So let me tell you what he's saying. What do you got going on?
What Adam's saying? No. Yeah, big deal this week. Recovering from SPC last week. It was an incredible event and made a lot of great connections. If you haven't been to an SPC event, I highly recommend it.
Awesome. Do me a favor, go check out the YouTube channel and the latest interview with Wolmy. Like I said, this stuff's insane. It's super good. Go help them out. Like, go check them out. They'll send you samples. It's super, super interesting stuff. Other than that, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.